Hello everyone, welcome to yet another speed paint video, and in fact, welcome to the month of May. Yes, I know that I am officially behind on actually starting May. I know that it is not the 1st of May. However, every May there is this online art challenge called Mermaid, and this is one of the first times I am committing to the entire challenge. 31 drawings of 31 mermaids. That's one drawing every day for the entire month of May. The reason this video is coming at you a little bit later than the start of the month is for that reason in particular. I took the first 7 drawings of this month, put them into this video, and I'm going to talk you through my thought process for each one because as a designer and a character illustrator, I want to try and have unique illustrations for each day. On top of that, I am personally challenging myself to do the Pantone Mermaid challenge, which is where I take a single Pantone color from a prompt list, and I have to use that single color for the entire illustration, basically creating a monotone, chromatic illustration. As well, my other personal challenge is to create pin-ups for each day, so I am messing around with poses, trying to create a little bit of a flair in each illustration, and tiny warning, there are boobs. I'm not monetized, I'm not hiding this, there's nothing sexual about this, viewers, but this is your warning. There are boobs in this video because they are pin-ups and mermaids don't always wear tops. That being said, I do hope you guys enjoy, and if there are any kind of mermaids you'd like to see in the future, comment down below any kind of prompt ideas of your own. Now, the color prompt for day 1 is a color called Aurora Pink. For me, hearing Aurora Pink instantly made me think of the Disney princess Sleeping Beauty, also known as Aurora. I grew up with the Disney VHSs, the princesses, that was my childhood, so that was what I thought of instantly. Not wanting to think too long on each prompt, I just kind of went with my gut feeling, which means for this first illustration, I really wanted some kind of flowy, soft, princessy vibe. Something that kind of bordered on pinup, bordered on princess, and I wound up with this softer looking pink mermaid that I'm quite happy with as a Kickstarter for this whole art challenge. I will admit for the majority of this challenge, I found it surprisingly difficult to work in a single color. In terms of working in a single color, that means I chose the Pantone color straight out of the prompt list, and then the only changes I made to that color were lightening it, adding more white, or darkening it, adding more black. Now, doing this digitally does mean that there was probably a tiny bit of cheating, you know, overlay layers, multiply layers, a little bit of sliding on the color wheel. That being said, I don't work monochromatic very often. I love color and I love having complementary colors. So having something that stands out and doesn't have too many of the same values in it, i.e. a black against a dark gray, it was very challenging and I had to push myself to find ways to find a balance between those. You want an equal amount of white to black in each illustration, and when you're working with one color, you have to focus on those hues, tones, and values from your white to your grays to your black in one single color. So it was an interesting experience. I certainly believe that I got better the more into this challenge I get. So hopefully each illustration is better than the last, but you guys let me know down below what your thoughts are. The second color in this challenge was Vivacious. Now, I didn't have a whole lot to go off of in terms of initial thought for this one. The only really kind of train of thought I had for the word vivacious was thinking back to a little bit more of the sexual pose, a little bit more open, voluptuous. So I really wanted to kind of take that rich red-pink color, almost like a wine color, and turn it into a mermaid that I believe fit the word more so than the color. You'll find that I do that with a lot of these illustrations, is I just go with the word first and the color after. I will say that day 2 is perhaps the true start of the pinup part of this series. In the beginning with day 1, I really just wanted to get into the flow of the mermaids, but I found I really enjoyed day 2 and enjoyed exploring body types, which I also wanted to use the pinup prompt for. I'm very bad with same body syndrome, so I'm trying to experiment with my mermaids on that, and I found it was so much fun with day 2 that I wanted to push it more and more in the days after that. Next up is day 3. The color prompt for this day was actually Ultraviolet. Now, Ultraviolet is an absolutely lovely color. The Pantone color for the Pantone swatch was so pretty. However, going back to how my brain works, I saw the prompt ultraviolet and immediately thought of the light ultraviolet, which is very hard to see, an interesting wavelength, and usually gives off some variation of a cool alien glow. Now, I'm not the biggest science nerd, I don't know too many actual facts, but I do love the idea of using this light spectrum in the actual creation of this art. So I might have taken this prompt a little bit too seriously in creating a quote-unquote deep sea mermaid, a mermaid that's a little bit chubbier to withstand the colder temperatures of deep sea, a mermaid that's darker to blend in with the background, but also a mermaid that has a bright fluorescent glowing purple accent, much like how a anglerfish will use its own light as a eating mechanism, or how you'll get bioluminescent jellyfish once you go deep enough into the ocean. I really wanted to play with that on day 3 and use ultraviolet as the reasoning behind why she's glowing so much. Next up is the color Lapis Blue. Now, I did misread this prompt a tiny bit. I read it straight up as Lapis Lazuli, which is a lovely, rich blue color. Gemstones, often used in paints for, more specifically, your historical medieval paintings. It's used to represent royalty, innocence, virginity. You'll see it on the Virgin Mary. You'll see it in royal robes because it was such a rich, rare color to work with. And it was seen as something so beautiful in history. I really wanted to dig that up and use that for this prompt. So that's why you'll see in day 4 here that this mermaid is actually a little bit more bedazzled, bejeweled, not quite a pinup, a little bit more sincere and modest. I really wanted to play on the princess aspect. I gave her a pearl tiara which hangs down her forehead, a lot of jewelry, beading. I wanted to make her really decorative with some really pretty, nice curls that clearly looked like she took time to actually put them together, or maybe even had a maid or a helper in making them actually sit where they needed to sit. In terms of the actual Pantone color, I do think I wound up going a little bit light with this one. With my highlighting and shading, I didn't color pick exactly the lapis blue, so I think my illustration came out a little bit lighter, but that's not the entire point of this challenge. The challenge is not to be as close to the color as possible, at least not to me. The challenge is to use this as a prompt set to help you come up with different ways to create a drawing every day and get your creativity flowing. Prompt lists are not supposed to be a set of rules or guidelines that you have to follow super strictly. It's supposed to help get creativity flowing and help you get into a place that makes you want to draw. And I really wanted to work on that with this prompt list, is not feeling like I need to stick to a certain thing and just letting my creativity go. These are not finished illustrations by any means. I mess around with the brushes in Procreate in this. I use the sketchiest brushes I can find and I blend and blur until it looks like I spent 2 minutes on it, and they were fun and they were super cool, and I'm proud of each and every one of them. And that's, if you don't even like the drawings that came out of this, I want you to take away that. Aspiring artists, people who like the creative side of the world, take away that you can just have fun sometimes. Take a word and let your brain flow. Okay, I know I went on a little bit of a rant there, but sometimes I feel like in this world of everything needs to have a meaning, everything needs to look pretty, everything needs to be finished, we forget about taking 5 minutes a day to mess around with a brush in a program we haven't touched in a while, or going back to a sketchbook that you haven't seen in months, and just letting yourself be creative. Now, apologies again for my little rant there. It did cut into a little bit of the next day. Day 5 is a color called Meridian Green. Now, I wasn't sure where to go with this color. I did look up the Pantone color for a little bit of background, and the description I found for the color Meridian Green was actually a play on a dark spring green. Now, a lot of us will associate a spring green with, you know, the grass or the trees, that really nice, bright, happy green that comes up when the blue skies come out and the snow leaves. I am Canadian, we get snow a lot, and the green that comes after is always the best color. So reading that, I instantly thought of a sad spring. The spring that is gray, the spring that is nothing but rain, the spring that maybe needs a little bit more extra lawn care because you just left -15 Celsius. So I came up with a quick little design of a spring girl, but I made it a little bit more simple, a little bit more sad. I gave her pigtails to show a happiness. I gave her a flower, but she's calm, she's sitting, she's not really out enjoying spring like someone else would be if it was May, June, borderline August when it's actually summer. No, this is that March, April, May when spring is only just showing up and you don't quite have all the flower buds yet. So day 6 on the screen here is the color called Aqua Sky. Again, it's a color I probably took a little too literally. I saw the word sky and I instantly wanted to do a little bit of a contrast to the Meridian Green, something that's bright and happy and has more of a summer feel. I wanted to explore a more thin athletic body type for this mermaid. I gave her a little bit more of a toned body, muscles, a small chest. And I really played around with that blue and I wanted to incorporate the idea of a cloud motif. You know, that doesn't mean that I drew clouds all over the place. I mean, I did. I put her on a cloud background as if she's not actually in water. But I also wanted to incorporate it in a more subtle way. I gave a lot of gradients within her character design, going from a dark blue to an almost white light blue, kind of simulating how a cloud has many layers and shadows. Primarily in her hair, with the flowiness and trying to get the wind going through it. And I really like how this one came out, even though it's a little bit more complex and maybe not quite as simple as the other ones in terms of the background or the overall look, but the design itself was simpler as well. So it was an interesting balance for me as the creator. Last but not least in this video, the color Queen Oasis. Now, I had no idea what to do with this color. All I really had to go off of was the word oasis. That was the only word I could latch onto. I've done a green or two by this point. It's been a whole week. I've kind of touched on almost every color of the rainbow by this point. So I'm getting into the groove of using a singular color and creating a monochrome illustration. However, one weak point, that is when you start to lose the motivation, the creativity. You start to feel like you're running out. So I felt like I was running out of designs and poses. So this is when I looked up poses. Friends, remember, reference is your friend, reference is your best friend. And I will admit, I've been using references for a couple of these. That's a lie. A lot of these illustrations because I don't know that many pinup poses off the top of my head. And if I were to create a pose out of my mind for every single 31 days, I would be reusing the same pose for like 29 of them because I don't have them all in my head. My character designs, a little bit more free, my poses, not so much. So for this one, I did find a really cute, simple pose that I enjoyed off of the internet, a reference pose, and I wanted to try and bring in more personality in the character design in terms of her face, the way that she curves, the way that she has a cute aura but still kind of pinup style. Not sexy pinup, but cute pinup. Like you can see that she's chubby and happy and has a personality that maybe some of the others didn't. That's not saying that they don't all have a personality. I try and put personality into all of them. I try and give them all different facial expressions, different body types, different movement and flow within the illustration. They are all standalone, but seeing them put together is also something in itself because each week is a little piece of a rainbow. Each day kind of flows into the next because of the Pantone colors. I am beyond happy with the work I've done so far, even in this first week, and I can't wait to share with you more of the drawings that I'm going to work on. This is an excellent challenge for me, both to get back in the habit of drawing every day after work and school and the pandemic going on and my own stress and real life. And it's also a great challenge for me to just focus on creating, not so much in sharing. Yes, that's something that I enjoy doing. I love sharing my work. but being able to simply sit down, create, and just let my hand move without having to think of some stupid meaning behind each and every pose and color choice and strand of hair has been amazing for my creativity and my mind, my thoughts, and my feelings, and I just really hope that you guys enjoy this video as much as I enjoyed making all of the pieces for it. This is going to be a short series. I'm going to take each and every week of this mermaid challenge and condense them into one video for you so you can see my thought process, my art process, and kind of learn a bit about how I explore this challenge and my own thoughts and creativity as we go about. Once this whole challenge is said and done, if you'd like a recap video of my highs, lows, and my favorite parts about this challenge, comment down below and I'll get to work on that as soon as I can. That being said, that is the end of today's video. Here are all 7 mermaids in a row. As you can see, their colors do line up pretty well, and I'm trying my best to get enough variety between them that they actually look visually interesting together. Let me know which day was your favorite down in the comments below. I think mine was ultraviolet just because it was so fun for me to work on glowy special effects and drawings. And I'll see you guys next week with another 7 mermaids, and we'll see what kind of creativity I can bring then. Stay safe, guys, and I'll see you next week. Bye!